You're listening to God Can I Hold a Dollar, the podcast brought to you from Reset Budgeting and Financial Coaching with Janine Victor McDade, owner and principal consultant. The podcast that bridges real world conversations, no shame, no shade, and the word of Christ all in one. Hello, Resetters. Happy Sunday to you. I am coming to you fresh out of church and bringing you another episode this week. This one's going to be a little bit of a bonus because tomorrow, many of you are going to file your taxes if you haven't done so already. So today is April 15th of 2024. And for some of us, it is a day that we're excited about because we know that we've got some money coming back. And for others of us, a day we're not that excited about because we know that there's an opportunity or that we're going to owe some money back to the IRS or to the state or both. And so I want to come to you and talk to you today about just a couple of things, a little bit of research I've been doing and just some things that have come to mind. If you happen to be in that former category I spoke about, where you have money that's coming back to you from your tax return. So once again, I'm going to put a disclaimer. I am not a tax expert. I'm not a tax preparer. I'm not a CPA. I purely just advise as a consultant and as a coach, ways that we can better be mindful of our finances. We can better practice good stewardship over our finances. So please, any information that I share in this video is for pure information only. I am not prescribing anything for you to do, but pure information only based off of, like I said, my own experience, as well as the experience of others that I've spoken to. So for 2024, I want to share with you from Yahoo Finance. And there's an article that's online right now. Feel free to pull it up. And it says, here's the number one thing Americans do with their tax refund. And so it says, according to a 2024 survey conducted by Go Banking Rates, most Americans plan to use their tax refund in a practical manner, saving it. It says over 25% of respondents said that they plan to put their refund towards savings. Now, that's a little different from years before. Generally, the top things that people do with their refunds based on this same exact article, on Yahoo Finance, you can find that at finance.yahoo.com, is paying off debt was the next popular choice, right? Which a lot of folks do. They look for this tax refund and apply it to debt. It says few Americans will be spending their refunds on unnecessary expenses. According to the Go Banking Rates survey, only 2% of Americans said they plan to spend their refund on a vacation. About 4% said they would spend it on a major purchase to treat themselves. 4% said they would invest it, and less than 1% said they would donate it. And then it says also, when do Americans expect to file their taxes? Most taxpayers don't plan on waiting until the last minute to file a tax return. The survey found that 74% of respondents expected to file a return well before the April 15th date, and another 14% plan to file sometime in the week of the deadline. Only 5% are looking to ask for an extension. So, best that I personally will glean from looking at what's happened over 2022, 2023, and 2024 is that a lot of people are now really taking inventory into making sure that you have a savings account or a cushion, or you have something and somewhere you have some type of liquid asset. Between 2022, 2023, and even today, a lot of people got laid off. Okay. You hear it in the news. I talk to people every day, in the function that I have at my job in regards to folks trying to recover, find another job after a layoff, so on and so forth. And so you have a lot of people that are now really taking stock into making sure that they have some kind of emergency fund or cushion, because you never know when the bottom may fall out of jobs that a lot of us deemed pretty stable. The economy and the pandemic Factors have really, really put the pressure on a lot of businesses. And unfortunately, some of the remedies that they're now at or have had to put into place even multiple times. I've definitely seen that in my situation is layoffs. And layoffs are never fun, right? Layoffs are hard. They're hard on families. They are hard on businesses as well. I've experienced a layoff personally, and I also have been on the other side of business having to plan for a layoff. And it's not a thing that anybody wants to actually attain to. But here's the tip that I give to people who I coach, right? In work. I'll just throw it out there to you is business is never personal. That business is going to do everything it can to live and thrive and continue to grow. And sometimes what that means is it's going to cut off what it considers dead weight in the season. So, business is never personal, but the way that you prepare yourself has to always be personal. So you have to always make sure that you've got some kind of cushion or savings. I've learned that the hard way. I'm recovering from that, being that I went through a layoff in 2023 and was laid off for about 5 months, but still the mortgage payments don't stop, the rent payments don't stop, the credit card payments don't stop. If you have, credit card debt, PG&E, that's what it's called out here in Bay Area. Electric and gas want their payment, water wants their payment. Like everything is still expected, even when your situation, your circumstances have changed. So a lot of people, from what I've gleaned and the findings from the Go Bank Rate Survey, our people are really like taking heed to that. That there's such a saturation of people that are now in the job hunt market is now they're like, oh my gosh, I need the severance packages, if you're blessed enough to be able to get one of those, are extremely helpful. But you got to make sure that you have that at minimum 3 month to 6 month cushion to live off of. And even now, because there's so many qualified talented people that are in the marketplace, that there's a lot of people I don't even get a chance to speak to because there's so many people that are qualified for some of the roles that I'm hiring for. Whereas you wouldn't necessarily have that because those really heavily qualified people would already be working. So I just want to throw that out there to you. I think that is a huge contributor to what I'm seeing right now in some of these surveys. It says here the average tax refund is down so far this year, right? Same article is saying according to the IRS, the average tax refund as of the week ending February 4th was $1,395. That's down 29% from this same time last year when the average refund amount was $1,963. Now, let's talk about refunds in general. So really honestly, so speaking from a financial standpoint, we really shouldn't be looking for a refund at the end of the year. If we have taken time to talk to a qualified tax specialist, CPA, accountant, what have you, and taken into account all of our finances and our expectations of deductions and expenses, we should not be receiving large refunds by the end of the year. Because what that means is that we have not taken enough deductions. And so the government has had this wonderful free money that they've been able to attain, to hold on to and retain. And then it feels like a windfall or it feels like a gift that we're getting at the end of the tax year, where it really isn't. This has been your money all the time based on deductions and based on, tax credits and things like that that you are, qualified for. And it's just coming back to you in one lump sum. That really is what's happening. So many of us, if you're getting these large refunds, we have not done the proper amount of deductions over the year. We haven't taken the number of deductions we should have on our W-2s. If you're working, a 9 to 5 job or a part-time job or what have you. That's the one thing. The other thing is that I have some people that actually purposely do that because self admittedly, they'll say, I'd rather get it at the end of the year and it's all together and I can actually do something with it than get it, in small amounts during the year because I'm going to mismanage it. I appreciate the honesty there. Absolutely appreciate the honesty. If it is a distinct and active decision that you're making to do that, then okay, right? But a lot of us, we're actually just leaving money on the table and we're not making that actual physical informed decision to do that way. And that's why we're getting tax refunds. Also, in a little bit more research that I actually did this year, excuse me, there we go. There is a article. Now, everybody has an article. I'm going to tell you, like, TurboTax has a 12 smart things to do with your tax refund. US News Money has five best ways to spend your tax refund. WCNC.com has 7 smart ways to use your tax refund. Everybody has some kind of article, some kind of something around this time of year, really educating you on best ways to use your tax refund. So I think what we're going to do, and once again, I have no endorsement, no connections with any of these sites, any of these businesses or brands. I'm purely just doing some research online. We're going to take a look at TurboTax, and it talks about 12 smart things to do with your tax refund. All right. So TurboTax, I love right off the gate, opening TurboTax. Guess what? Number one thing that TurboTax.com says, or excuse me, TurboTax.intuit.com says is to create an emergency fund. I couldn't have said it better myself. TurboTax says many Americans don't have an adequate savings account accessible in case of a sudden financial need. Once again, many of us, including myself, found ourselves without a job or participating in a layoff. That's a sudden financial need. And the rest of the things that life brings us. It says a lack of savings leaves you vulnerable to a job loss, medical emergency, or major repair and can force you to seek out short term loans at high interest rates or carry credit card balances for an extended period. That's all a short term loan is on a credit card, to be honest with you, at a higher interest rate. Using your refund to start an or augment an emergency fund could leave you breathing easier should one of those events arise. Right? I love it. Kudos to TurboTax for having created an emergency fund being number one. Number two is to send it to savings, right? Which we actually got confirmation from our previous article as well. Three, pay off debt. Pay off debt is always going to be in these top 10, top five, top three list, right? But also number four. Now, if you're somebody who's got a handle on their finances, where you may or may not be listening to my content in in my podcast, because most of my listeners are looking for better ways to manage their money, or they've struggled or are struggling, and can relate to my story. But if you happen to be one of those people that's on the other end of a struggle, number four is fund your retirement. Fund your retirement. I'm going to actually record something for you all, as promised, from episode 7, I believe, where I talked about, right, getting your house in order, spring cleaning your finances. One of those things that we're going to look at is going to be the 401k. For example, there's many ways to fund your retirement. Your 401k is absolutely not the only one, but it is the one that most people are familiar with. It is the one thing that most people are a bit comfortable with because you're not actively doing it. Your job is very much a partner in managing those things. So most people find entryway into investment and saving for retirement through a 401k a lot more appealing. So we're going to talk about that. Number 5 is look into the future, right? It says you're not the only one who needs to prepare for retirement. Your kids can also start to plan now. Look at that. Given the power of compound interest, baby, ain't nothing better than some compound interest and time. Those are the two diamonds that you want, okay, in your life. Starting young is the best approach for well-funded golden years. Your children are allowed to contribute up to $6,500 for an IRA in 2023 or $7,000 in 2024 as long as they have that much earned income. That's a whole nother podcast, post, video, video about your children being able to have earned income. Probably bring somebody on to have that discussion. Moreover, you can be the one funding the account as long as your child is the one who earned the money. A win-win for any kid. So, based on this little excerpt here, there is an opportunity, provided that you have some type of business or your children are in some type of earning capacity where they can earn income and start their retirement in their youth years. I don't know about you, but I didn't know about that until maybe a year or two ago, three ago, right? Number six is seed the college fund. So take that refund and put it into your children's college fund. Seven, invest in the stock market. Nowadays, that is a excellent thing to do. There are some stocks out there that are doing amazing. Do your research, look out for that yourself. Number eight, kickstart your career. A lot of you all are looking into opportunities to create wealth, create additional avenues of income. You can absolutely use your refund to do that. I think if I recall, is it Budget and Baddies? I may be saying the wrong name, but she used a refund. And she has an amazing business now. I'm going to double check and make sure that name is correct. Nine, prepay your mortgage. Add some additional money onto your mortgage. Put it as a principal payment. That way, it doesn't offset your next payment. It doesn't add to additional interest that's being collected. It actually goes to the principal. You'd be amazed at how much even a couple of dollars will do to shave off years off of your mortgage. All right. Number 10, start a business, right? Talked a little bit about that. 11, make some home improvements. And then 12, look at this, buy some life insurance. If you don't already have it, buy some life insurance. The excerpt here says life insurance can be easy to overlook, particularly for younger workers confident that they have plenty of time to worry about that. I remember that. But particularly for those who are married with families, a term life policy can provide protection for loved ones at a relatively low cost. For the cost of a few $100s, your tax refund can allow your family to maintain its standard of living if the unthinkable happens. Now, this is talking about term life once again. Do your homework, contact a life insurance agent, contact a financial planner. Your situation is going to be different. Term life may be a good, viable option for you. There are many others available to you. There are some that actually will grow your money for you. Term does not. Term just covers you in the case that there's, a problem or an issue or something arises and you need a life insurance, you have a life insurance need. But do your homework, do your research for the best life insurance. If this is something, an avenue that you want to go down, for the best option for life insurance based on your own personal situation. Right. So that is the episode for today, right? Tax rich. If you're one of those people that are tax rich, there's some great examples that are in here of how you can actually spend that tax refund, what you can do to make it grow, to put it toward debt, to do a lot of different things. But if I have to say, if I have to pick my favorite is the emergency fund. 3 to 6 months is, pretty much the average suggestion, that you have minimum of 3 months. 6 months is really comfortable, but honestly, you can't save enough in your emergency fund. Life is going to life. As long as we're living, things are going to come up, things are going to break, things are going to happen, life is going to change. They are going to happen. And so, one of the ways that you don't have to be taxed, because some things are going to tax you mentally, some things may tax you physically. One way that you can prepare to not be taxed is financially. All right, resitters, have an amazing, amazing week, and I'll talk to you soon.